Welcome back to this week's YouTube Live and the podcast. My name is RD. Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. We got a special guest with us tonight. We got Brian for Southern Snares out of Georgia. So welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. So welcome to the Waterfowl Den. This is your first time coming on. We were talking earlier. We met at a show. I actually went to a waterfowl show, and they were having a trapper show, and I always like to learn new stuff, and I've never been trapping, so hopefully some of the questions that I ask, may make some other people knowledgeable, and we're going to try to pick your brain and talk all kind of stuff tonight. So, how you been?
Yeah, absolutely. Been doing good. Been very busy. It's our busy season right now.
So what makes this the busy season? What's in?
The busy season is when trapping season starts in different states, and right now it's open in all the lower 48s and in Alaska right now. So lots of trappers out there doing their thing, and they need lots of baits, and they need lots of lures, they need lots of traps, and we supply them with everything that they need.
So who is Southern Snare?
So who is Southern? That's a good question. And let me start with how it got started.
All right.
And it was literally hold my drink kind of a situation. And several years ago, my father-in-law had bought me a survival snare kit. And in that kit was a DVD explaining how to do things that I already knew how to do. And the guy in the DVD literally said that I couldn't do what he's doing. And I kind of took offense to that. And out of that statement that he made, Southern Snares was born. And we've just been going with it ever since. It's kind of it created this giant monster that's kind of taken over our lives.
So when did that get started?
That was in early 2014.
So that's a little bit before COVID. And how did COVID play a part in that?
Well, with nobody being able to work or go, it made it business-wise. Business was never better. That was probably at the peak of COVID was probably our best year. Yeah. Especially when the COVID money started coming in, and the government was handing out money left and right. There was a lot of people that spent that money on trapping supplies.
I'm sure they're probably looking for stuff to do. I know I done a lot of fishing during that time.
Yep. What better place to be than the outdoors?
And me and my buddy, we would go fishing, and we would like days of fishing. I'd hold my fishing rod out, and I'm like, all right, my fishing rod's 6 foot. Get back.
Yep. Yep. It was stressful at the same time, being as busy. I mean, we were not prepared to be as busy as we were. And so we didn't have the personnel, we didn't have the employees on hand to handle that workload, and we struggled. Yeah. So, but the money was nice, but at the same time, we couldn't keep up with orders either. 12-hour days were turning into 13-hour days, and then 14-hour days. And there for a while, it was 16-hour days, just trying to keep up with getting orders out.
Hey, Mike, I see you in the comments there. So how many hours you working now?
Well, now we've got enough personnel. We've got enough. We just hired some more for the busy season. And so we're doing 12 to 13 hours each day, 6 days a week for the busy season.
Most of the stuff online orders. Y'all have a store, like a physical.
We do. We've got a new building that we've just had finished up. We've had it just a few years now. It's sitting around 14,000 square feet, and but it also houses, it's warehousing, and it's also production, and we get a lot of walk-in traffic there. And then, of course, our online presence. We sell on our Southern Snares webpage and eBay and Amazon as well.
Really, on Amazon? Wow. So where are y'all located out of?
So we're kind of in the very southeast corner of Georgia. So about 20 minutes from the coast. So we do get some of those nice hurricanes you see some from time to time. Uh, if you know where Savannah, Georgia is, we're about 90 minutes south of there.
I got you.
I kind of joke around. I can throw a stick and hit somebody from Florida, pretty easy.
So you down there around where Kicks Chokes and stuff is?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Zach? Hopefully you're not working too hard tonight. But yeah, so people that just joining, we got Brian on from Southern Snares. We're gonna learn all kind of stuff. So how many people you got working for you during business season?
Right now, I think we've got right around 14 employees.
Wow, that's impressive. I was not thinking in my head that big of a number. So y'all must really have grown then.
We have, when we first started, it was literally my wife and I, and then we slowly started as that snowball started growing. We've added to it and built more buildings and added more storage and just kind of roll with the punches, so to say.
I understand that. So what do y'all offer? Like, give me a breakdown. What do y'all offer?
So we're a full line trapping supply business, and so whether it's traps, bait, lure, snares, hardware, tools, we make a lot of our own stuff here in house. So we pretty much offer a full line of trapping supplies. If you need something for trapping, we either have it or can get it for you. We have our performance trapping gear line, which is an all American made line that we make right here in Southeast Georgia. And we've got plasma tables, cutting tables that run all day. We've got CNC machines that run all day, trying to just keep up with inventory. And it definitely keeps us busy.
So my little girl dances sometimes down there at Savannah. So, hey, next time I'm in that area, I'm gonna have to hit you up. Might have to stop by the shop and get some video of all the setup stuff. That's pretty cool with a plasma cutter.
Yeah. Come on by. We'll make something for you. Make sure you take it home with you. And you're more than welcome to come on down, and we'll give you the dime tour.
We'll add it to the wall.
That's it.
I have changed my setup a little bit. I moved my room around a little bit because it was getting a little tight. And people ask me all the time, what you gonna do when you run out of wall space? I might have to start going down this way or something. I don't know what might happen.
Yeah, make a bigger wall.
That's funny. So if somebody came to you and said, hey, I'm wanting to get into trapping, what would you tell them? One, maybe where to go to start learning, and what might they need to get started, and what price range kind of like am I looking at if I wanted to go get started?
So price range to get started, we do have a starters kit available on the webpage, and it runs, I think it's $210. It gives you everything you need to get started. And it's just base equipment, some decent quality traps. It comes with bait, lure, everything you're going to need to get started. And then you can just take that and expand from there as you grow as a trapper. Now, as far as resources, as far as where to learn, the first place I would do is check out every state has got a trappers association, and check with them, and those guys will be more than happy to spend the time and the energy to show you what you need to do. Also, there's plenty of DVDs and books available, and YouTube, of course, is another place you can learn to do, whether you want to trap coyotes or bobcats, or if you're a duck hunter and you want to help protect those flocks and help get rid of those nest raiders, such as like your raccoons, your skunks, your possums. All those are going to eat those duck eggs. So getting rid of those, you can learn how to do that pretty easy.
Yeah, that's what Mike asked in the comment. What would be the best way to trap coyotes?
Well, depending on what your state and local laws are, I prefer snares. Snares are good in a lot of places, but in some places they're not practical, and you're going to use a foothold trap, just a coil spring style trap, or even a long spring style trap.
So I heard you saying a couple of times, and I know it's on the website too, but you keep saying lures and bait. What's the difference in lures and bait? Obviously, they both sound like, hey, I'm trying to get you over here. What's the difference between a lure and a bait?
So the main difference between a lure and a bait. So a lure is designed to get your target species to your trap set. So it's going to have some odor to it. It's not necessarily going to taste very well or very good to the animal. The bait is made to keep them there. So it gives them a little something to work your set, to try to get to before he steps in the trap, essentially. So one's made to get them there. The other one's made to keep them there as long as possible, giving you just a better chance of catching them.
That makes sense. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. You'll get some guys that run just bait, and then you got some guys that run just lure, and then you got the other guys that run both. I'm one of the guys that run both. I run bait and lure. I want the best chance I can to catch what I want to catch.
So what do you normally go after? What you setting your traps for mostly?
Well, unfortunately, with Southern Snares, I'm almost too busy to land trap. So usually right after hunting season, I've got contracts with timber companies for beaver trapping, and so that's mostly what I do right now is beaver trap.
For like waterfowl beaver trapment, or beaver trapping as in keeping the water so that it's not flooding the timbers?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not that the beavers are cutting down tons and tons of trees. It's that they're flooding the areas, and that's what they're experiencing. So they, I've got a list that I go by of areas that I'll go and check, and then usually their past areas have had problems, and then trap the beavers that still may be there because of flooding. Pine trees, they die rather quickly when it comes to that. So that's about the only thing I've got time for right now.
Have you ever seen anything like, wow, I can't believe I found that out there trapping? Like animal wise, and like a object wise, like I was with fire and EMS for a good many years, and we were searching for a guy, and we were walking through the woods and came across a building that had bottles of green fluid in it that looked like antifreeze, but also looked like alien juice. And I'm like, how is this out here? I mean, do you see weird stuff like that in the woods?
Oh yeah. It, aside from, sometimes I'll catch alligators in my traps, which is a big problem.
Really?
Especially snares, that they'll get hung in a snare pretty quick, and then you got to figure out how to get them out of the snare without hurting it.
I was going to say, with alligator, you wouldn't be able to, what y'all say, the words there, I know it starts with a what? It starts with a D. Oh man, come on. That's the one thing with, thank you. This is the one thing with live. You was like, I don't want to say nothing and look crazy. Hey, when you're live, you can't just pause and think the word dispatch. Thank you.
That's right.
I was trying to get the correct word there. You wouldn't be able to dispatch a gator because that wouldn't be in season, right?
Correct. Yeah, and they're protected up to a point. So that's not something you really want to do. The last few times I actually snared some alligators, I was lucky enough to stay far enough away that he couldn't get to me, but lay my .22 rifle across his back and shoot the snare lock off of the back of his neck and let him loose. So I got real lucky with those.
That's amazing that it held up to that, because their strength comes from them when they're twirling or twisting. You must have had that joker really chained down or bolted down or in the ground pretty good.
Yeah. We use we make our own earth anchors here, our Southern Snares brand, and that's all I used, and it held them ground. the alligators aren't exactly tall, so they don't have the leverage to pull them up out of the ground. They can pull it, and it goes across sideways, across the ground. So they don't have a lot of pulling power that way. But as far as now the twisting and the turning, yeah, they're gonna fight it pretty hard that way. But
So is that?
But yeah, they.
Sorry. So is that closer towards the coast where you see the gators and stuff?
Yeah, we're at I don't know, I'm probably 20 minutes from the coast, and depending, any given day when I'm doing the beaver trapping, I might drive 120, 150 miles round trip, and so it may be further south towards Florida, or even further east towards the coast here in Georgia. But yeah, we've got quite a bit of alligators here.
That's pretty cool. So what would be something you've seen in the woods minus the gator that made you think, what in the world's going on out here?
We'll find. I think the weirdest thing was a car. We found a car in the swamp. It was upside down, and it was. I'm not sure what kind of car it was. And how it got out there in the first place was pretty, mind-boggling. I couldn't comprehend how they got a car where it was. It was upside down. It was half underwater, and it was a 50s style, maybe an early 60s style station wagon, and there's no roads. I'm probably 200 yards from the nearest road, and I'm having to hike in through a swamp to get to it, and how it got there is just kind of weird. I think it may have been an old Studebaker.
You think the trees and stuff grew up around it?
Well, I'm sure some of them did, but just the general condition of the swamp, you're wading through 2 and 3 feet of water, and now it had to have been a different situation, whenever that car got out there, but you could tell it's been there for quite a long time too. I was scared there might have been a body in it, but I didn't see anything.
Hey,
I didn't open the trunk up to see, but you never know.
You know that there was 2 Southern Georgia boys somewhere, 2 of them, and they was like, you know what? I think we ought to take this car, put it out in the marsh upside down, and in 20 years, somebody's going to come onto this thing and wonder what the heck happened out here.
Absolutely. That's a lot of pre-planning right there.
You never, you don't put nothing past the country boys.
Oh no, we got plenty of them. We're thick with rednecks around here, that's for certain.
So you said earlier that y'all make y'all's own baits and lures. So let's talk about that a little bit. So let's don't give away no secrets. I ain't asking for no secrets, but what kind of ingredients is going in this stuff? Like, what kind of shelf life? Does it have to be refrigerated? Like, talk about the baits and lures.
So, taken as a whole, your baits and lures generally don't have to be refrigerated. The baits are pretty well preserved with the same preservative, sodium benzoate, as that go into to food products. You and I have both eaten it, and I'm sure all of your listeners have eaten sodium benzoate in some form, in candy bars or some kind of processed food. So that's the first step after you get your base meat that you want to use. So let's say you want to use beaver meat, since we were talking about beavers earlier. Mm-hmm. You can go ahead and add the sodium benzoate, and that's going to preserve it, and that's going to keep it from rotting down and becoming real just nasty. Then you can add other things to it to enhance the smell and the flavor for let's say your coyotes. And so one of the most widely used ingredients in both bait and lure, let's just since we're here again, since we're talking about beavers earlier, would be beaver castor. All predators are attracted to beaver castor, and so that would be an excellent product, thing to put inside your bait as well. The only thing I wouldn't do is just store it, keep it in a cool, dry place. Don't put it in the sunlight. And it should last from 1 year to the next, for at least 2 or 3 years, I would imagine.
So are you allowed as a company to take some of that beaver and make beaver meats, or like does individuals, can they use some other trapping stuff to make their own baits?
Oh yeah, yeah. And here again, you want to check with your state laws and stuff. Beavers are considered a nuisance animal, not a fur bearer. So we can definitely take the meat from beaver and make bait with it. And the meat itself isn't much different than beef. It's a dark red meat, just like beef. They have a lot of the same eating habits as cattle does. They're both vegetarians, and it has a beef consistency or texture to it and flavor to it too. So it makes a great bait. Or if you wanted to eat it, you can eat it. A lot of people will eat beaver.
Really? I don't know if
Absolutely.
I want to. I'm not sure I want a crock pot of that yet. Maybe the right person cooking it. You seem like you might know how to cook it better than Joe Blow down the street. So maybe if you cooked it, I might would take a stab at it.
We'll have to give it a try. So when you come down to visit and do some filming and do a tour, we'll cook up some beaver.
I mean, just from the video size, neither one of us look like we're turning down any kind of meat. So let me pull up the website here, because I can pull up the website and we talk about it, and you guide me around on the website here.
Okay.
So southernsnares.com. So this is where we at here. So I got the mouse. You tell me how to drive.
All right. So one of the most some of the most questions we get is our shipping charges on our webpage. So if you click in the up left corner there where it says My Secret Stuff,
all right,
or The Secret Stuff, it's going to have a list of certain things that aren't necessarily for sale, but you've got our shipping rates there, and that's going to be based on the amount of money that you spend and not necessarily what you buy.
That's good. So going straight into it about shipping costs versus what weight, because some of the metal traps are probably pretty heavy too, aren't they?
Oh yeah, yeah. I took an order today that had a couple of dozen traps on them, and that's probably going to be 50, 60 pounds right there, not to along with everything else that he ordered too. So some of the some orders we might make $1 or $2 on the shipping charges, and some orders we lose. And
right,
we're going to lose a few bucks. It's going to cost more to ship that than what we charged, and that's great for the customer. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for us. We're taking care of the customer, and hopefully he'll come back and buy some more.
Maybe when some of those fuel prices go down, shipping's going to go down.
Yeah. I drive a diesel, and I drove my gas station. I normally fill up earlier today, and diesel was actually below $3 a gallon. I was kind of shocked to see that. It was about 50, 60 cents higher just a week or two ago.
So I got two trucks. I got a diesel and then what we call the Home Depot truck, the old trash truck, the old Goose. I got my Goose stickers on it, so it's the Goose truck, and it's in the shop. So I'm back in the diesel, and man, I tell you, that $1 cheaper for gas is a whole lot nicer. But I get to driving that 250, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, man, this sure is nice. Got leather seats, power windows. Man, I could get used to this.
Oh yeah. I bought my truck. I bought it with this business in mind. I knew I was going to spend a lot of time in it driving to conventions, and so I wanted to make sure I had some of those creature comforts, and I wanted to be comfortable. And yeah, they can be pretty comfortable.
The only downside is my work is so close that diesel doesn't get warm enough to have heat by the time I get to work. So I have to go out there and crank it up, and then it'll cut off, and I have to crank it up again. And by the time that second crank up, I got heat out there, because it's done got cold out there. They're talking about snow in the mountains tomorrow. Yeah. They talking about a good bit up in the Boone and Blowing Rock and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to come all the way down to Asheville, but the way that wind was blowing out there today, it was ripping pretty good.
Yeah, it was windy and cold here today. I don't think we have to worry. I think it snowed twice in this area out of the last 25, 26 years, and so we don't have to worry about that too often over here.
Yeah. So up under the secret stuff, you got anything else up under the secret stuff?
Yeah, go click on that again, and I think we've got some profiles for some pro staffers on there that do some work with us, and some other things there. I can't see it there.
You got commercial events in 2025, which I think we're about to run out of 2025. So I'm going to say that to the end of events for 2026. But so here's the Snare family here. So somebody's been busy on them pictures.
Oh yeah. We have some great support with those guys. They're pretty active in their associations and trapping, and they were a good fit for us, and love them to death.
Yeah, that much snow. Me living in South Carolina, I'm right below Charlotte. If we got that kind of snow, we wouldn't know what to do with that kind of snow.
Oh yeah, that first time it was probably 7-8 years ago. We got an inch or two of snow here, and it shut the state down. I mean, if you want to see something funny, you watch a redneck from South Georgia drive on the snow. It's you better look out.
I just saw Mike's comment. So I was telling you earlier that there's a delay in between you and me talking, and there's a delay how it gets then uploaded to YouTube. And he's like, I love some beaver nuts from Buc-ee's. When you said about the beavers, everything loves that beaver. It wasn't juice, but when you was talking about the bait and making baits.
Oh, the meat.
He was like
caster.
The caster. He was like, man, I love some beaver nuts, man. I'm telling you, them beaver nuts from Buc-ee's, that bag, you start eating on them things, and the next thing you know, you're halfway through the bag and you got to stop.
Oh yeah. If I try to make it a point to stop if I'm going to be on a long drive, especially driving to some of the shows, I'll stop at a Buc-ee's, and that rides shotgun with me because I'm snacking half the way up there.
It's terrible, I know. So I clicked on the secret stuff, the basic information, and it talks about the loop diameters and heights to the ground. That seems like a pretty good reference on what might need to get started. Do y'all have, like, say, if somebody's got questions and stuff, is there somebody at the shop that answers, like, hey, I'm not sure what I need or something like that? Y'all got like a support?
Yeah. So typically I'll answer the phone. If I'm not available, it'll transfer to my wife, and she's just as up to date and current with technique and trapping and snaring as I am. And between her or I, we can definitely get the customers taken care of. If they got questions, we've got answers. And if we don't know it, we'll definitely tell them, man, I don't know, but we'll find out. Let's find out together. And, we'll do some homework to figure out what the answer might be.
So you got a link here to the National Trappers Association. And like you said earlier, I know Georgia's got one, and, I personally didn't even know South Carolina had a Trappers Association until I saw them at that Somerton Duck Festival, and it was pretty awesome. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I enjoyed that, being out there that day, learned a lot, met a lot of new people, and just like this, I'm not going to even say I'm a trapper, because I'm not that. I think it's very interesting, and I appreciate those trappers because like you said, obviously I enjoy waterfowl, and next to waterfowl is turkey. Like, it is 51%, and depending on the day, I don't know if I like turkeys better than waterfowl or waterfowl better than turkeys. But regardless, their number one killer is predators and nest raiders, like what you're talking about. And I greatly appreciate trappers because that is giving back to the community of waterfowl, quail, turkeys. So, that's what people always talk about, like, oh man, these deer hunters out here, all these deer hunters. Well, what they don't know is them deer hunters are actually saving your insurance, because if they wasn't deer hunting, there'd be more deers in the road getting hit, which then makes all our insurance goes up. So, anytime I see a trapper or something going on and people say I'm into trapping, hey, as a turkey hunter, I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, well, we appreciate it, and hunters and waterfowl hunters, turkey hunters, you guys can become trappers too, and a lot of them are starting to do that. A lot of our with a lot of our walk-in traffic the last few years of people just starting out, they're getting a lot of pictures of raccoons on their cameras, and so that we got to get rid of these. And so they come by, they ask what they need, we'll hook them up with just a base set. We'll give them some pointers, send them on their way. And I always tell them to make sure they send us pictures, because we always like to see how our customers do. We want to see what they catch. And our company phone number is also a company cell phone. So I encourage them to call me or even text if they've got a number or a question. They can always get a hold of us. And if I may not answer it right away if they send something late at night, but I will answer their questions though.
So obviously monthly specials, there's all kind of stuff getting changed around on monthly specials.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on getting that updated, but we should be updating those once a month. I think I've had those up there for a little longer than that, but yep. So that'll be changed out here pretty soon with some new items and some new discounts for some other stuff.
Do y'all do email ads and stuff too?
We don't, and maybe we need to. I'm kind of on the fence with that because, emails or text messages is, I don't really like to get them myself, but maybe other people do. So maybe we'll try it and see what happens. If we get a decent response or a positive response, maybe we'll keep doing it. But I don't generally send out a lot of emails, maybe one a year.
So let's go down the list here and let's talk about each one. So there's a new products tag here. Anything new that you want to point out that might interest somebody?
So our newest item is going to be the ambush trap and die dip. I think that's in the upper right hand corner there.
All right.
And that's something that we developed here in house. So part of my background is I used to work at a chemical plant, and a lot of I was friends with a lot of the chemists there, and they helped us out with developing this. Traditionally, you'll have to dye your traps and then wax them separately, or put some kind of a coating on them separately. Mm-hmm. That does it all in one step. So we wanted to come out with something that would get your process done quicker, but something, of course, that nobody else has. And this particular product has really taken off. We ship out a ton of that every day.
So on my list of talking about was maintenance of your equipment. So are you saying, I know that new traps come with, like rust prevention stuff on them. Is this to use at new, or is it to use as new and at the end of the season?
So you'll want to use that prior to or the beginning of season. If you've got new traps, you're going to want to clean them, of course, get the oil, get the grime and dirt off there. And then that most of your dyes and waxes are going to adhere better if the trap's actually got a little bit of rust on. You can dip it in some vinegar for a little bit, pull it out, rinse it off, and let it rust up that way. Dip it in that, and that stuff is going to wear like iron. It's not going to come off, not hardly at all. It'll take quite a bit for that to come off.
So I see here it's got color. So what's What's the colors? What's them representing?
So the colors are just, it can come down to a personal preference. Now we can use that on snares, traps, or even some of your hardware, your tools and stuff. Black is the most traditional for traps. White would be, of course, if you're in snow, you would want to use the white. And then of course brown, green, and gray. Gray works very well, especially for snares. That gray color lets your snares blend in with shadows, and it'll almost make that snare invisible to you.
Really?
So it absolutely.
You want to blend in with the environment.
Right. Now, of course, your traps, your foothold traps, they're going to be buried under the dirt, by a certain amount of dirt and stuff. But some people like black, some people like brown, some people don't care. I've seen some women trappers paint their traps pink.
Really?
And absolutely, and great form. I'm glad they're out there doing it. So just different colors, personal preference, but occasionally, especially for the snare, if you want to dip your snares, that would actually be a type of camouflage for them.
And it probably makes a difference on what color you use versus what animal you're going for in the terrain. Like you were saying, the alligator earlier. The alligator probably wouldn't care less if it was pink.
Well, you got to be careful with the snares. Now your water traps, you've got to be careful doing something that may be an off color, because you'll actually get some animals that see that in the water, and they'll think it's something. You'll end up catching something you don't want to, maybe a non-target animal, and then you've got to deal with that. But taken as a whole, though, I don't think an alligator's going to care. All he wants to do is eat.
That's right. Hey, Jeff, welcome back this week. So, anything else on the new products here?
Our Battleborn trap cleaner is something that we've had out a little while, but it's new. It's kind of unique to the market. There's a few other trap cleaners, but ours is. And maybe I'm a little biased, but ours is some of the best. And it's a powdered process. You boil your traps with that, and it'll strip those traps down to bare clean metal. So at the end of the year, you can do that then, or before you start the next season, clean them off, and then you dip them in the ambush, and now you've got a nice clean dyed and waxed trap.
So we got the before and after maintenance on them. So let's talk about some of the dips and lures. So I know there's a whole category over here for bait, lures, and fish oils.
Absolutely, yeah. We sell our brand, and then of course we sell a lot of other brands. So there's plenty to choose from, and everybody's like, what's the best? What's the best coyote? What is the best? There's no answer to that question. What may be the best for me down here may not be the best for you up there, and it may not be for the best for the guy in New York. So most of your commercially available baits and lures are all going to be excellent. You just got to make sure you use the right type for the time of the year that you're in. So with your predators, your fur bearers, even beavers, they're going to respond to one of three categories, or three stimulants, and one's going to be food. So summertime, early spring, and going into fall, food is a food type lure will work well. And then when it comes for breeding time, that's another one. So you don't want to use a gland lure for that. And then a curiosity lure, of course, that can be used year round. And so just matching up the type of lure, not necessarily the brand, but the type of lure with the time of the year that it is going to be your most important thing.
So I'm assuming this first category here is the ones that y'all make. So that was the Southern Snares.
The Southern Snares there.
Seems like y'all got a pretty good in-house assortment of all kind of stuff. What's the probably the top one that y'all sell the most of?
Uh, that would be a toss up. Insidious is probably our top seller and our probably my personal favorite. It's got an odor like it's strong. It's got skunk added to it, and we've added a few other things to it that I can pretty much guarantee that is wouldn't be in any other lure. Um, and so it's got a little twang to it that you're not going to know what it is, but it's definitely going to work on your bobcats and your fox and your coyotes.
So it's going to open up your sinuses, is what you're saying.
Oh, you're gonna see. Yeah, if you get it, don't take it too deep of a whiff. I mean, a smell. And don't get it on you. A little goes a long ways.
So you got two different sizes, 1 ounce and 4 ounce.
Yeah, and that's kind of an industry standard. So most of your bait and lure guys, when it comes to their lures, are going to make them in a 1 and 4 ounce jar like that.
That's pretty cool. So there's a bunch of different ingredients, and y'all make all that in house?
Yeah. I'm the only one that makes those. My employees aren't allowed to know ingredients or recipes or anything like that, of course. So there may be a day where I'm making several batches of stuff, and those are the days my wife makes me change my clothes on the back porch because she won't let me in the house till I do.
I would imagine. I could only imagine. I probably don't want to imagine.
There's been a few times. Well, I've tracked some of that stuff in the house in the past, and it took a little while to get it out. It didn't just go away overnight.
Man, if you track some of that in with, I can only imagine if you had a in-house like cat or dog. I mean, it would probably drive them crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. New dogs and stuff, they do exactly that. Or if I'm making the shenanigans lure, which has catnip in it, like real catnip oil, it's not the imitation, it's the real oil, and it's pretty expensive to buy that, and so it never fails. I'll get a drop or something on my boot or on my pants, and then when I go in the house, it doesn't smell bad. It's part of the mint family. We've got 2 cats, and they just go crazy. I mean, you'd think they're on drugs or something. It's hilarious. But we bring our dogs over. We have 5 dogs now, I think. And every morning, we just walk to work because we just live on the other side of the property here. And so we bring them in there, and usually if they're new to it, then they kind of react to it. But after a few weeks of smelling the stuff, they get kind of used to it.
So what kind of baits y'all offer in there? I see raccoons, bobcats. There's all kind of stuff in there. Like, how many species are y'all targeting?
So yeah, you got your bobcat, you've got fox, you've got coyote, beaver, raccoon. So that's 5 there. And then some of those can be used. So they will cross over, and you can use it for other things. Like our dirty rat can be used for all 3, bobcat, fox, or coyote. And our apocalypse is our long distance call lure, which is really, really skunky. And that can be used for all 3 of those as well. Double ugly. That's a good curiosity lure. I named that after me, by the way. and so that's a good one for coyotes and foxes as well.
So there's the double ugly. I have to say, I do like the photo.
Yeah, that's a picture of me when I was a kid.
So what's this one for?
That's just a predator type lure, so that's going to work on your canines and your cats.
So if that's a 1 ounce bottle, which I didn't click to see if it was 1 or 4, so yeah, 1 ounce. So in a 1 ounce bottle, how many traps could you possibly do with that, and like how long is that going to last you? I know you said a little bit goes a long way. So talk me through it.
Well, depending on the lure, so double ugly's real musky smelling. If you get a lot of rain, you'll want to relure shortly after that in some cases, but that should last quite a long time. I'd say you put it down if you don't have anything after a week or 2 weeks, you want to maybe reapply some. But if you've got if you've got good clear weather and stuff, it may 2 or 3 weeks. We've had instances where some of our lures will hit a month later. In fact, our gator oil that we got on there, and it's made from alligators. We take specific parts, we render it down into a liquid, and it works wonderful. And especially down a dirt hole or a flat set, you may come by and see where they've dug it up, a month or two even after you pulled your traps up out of that spot.
That's pretty cool. So how many traps and I'm sure you wouldn't want to put that whole bottle on all your traps because you're going to want to mix them up. But how many traps could you say 1 ounce probably would do?
So it's gonna vary a little bit from trapper to trapper. I'll use kind of a kidney bean size blob of that, so you can get a couple of dozen sets put in with a 1 ounce lure.
A kidney bean reference is that's what I was looking for. People know what a bean size would be like. That's a pretty good reference. So yeah, that's probably could last for a good little bit. And I know, like you were saying, you wouldn't want to use the same bait all the way across your property because it may not work there, and you want to try something else on a different one.
Oh yeah, if you've got a certain bait and lure at one set, and let's say you missed the coyote, he doesn't step necessarily on the trap, and then he goes down the road to your next one, and if you've got the same bait and lure, well, he's already filled his curiosity at that first set, and you've just reduced the chances of catching them. So definitely change up the bait and lure as much as you can from one set to the next, and you're going to increase your odds of catching something a lot.
So obviously this coon bait here, that looks like a liquid type just by the jug, and me assuming, is that more liquid versus like something more a little bit thicker, or is that thick?
Is that the Bandit Buster?
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a pellet style bait that we've added oils and other fragrances to and flavors, and that's mainly for either cage traps or your dog proof traps. And so you put a little bit on the ground, you put a little bit down the trap, and that's our smoked fish flavor there. And then we've also got Deuce's Wild, which is a smoked cherry, and that's my favorite. It's got a great smell and it works wonderful.
All right, so I'm sure somebody's gonna want to know: Did you taste any of them?
Oh no, not on purpose. But there's been accidents where I've got bait or lure on my arms, and I go to wipe my face, and I'll get a mouthful of something. And there's been a few times that, did it make me sick? Yeah, it made me sick.
So here's some poles and stuff. So what do you recommend on different style poles and lengths? And
so for the beginner, the guy that's starting out, the one that's just doing it as a hobby, just that steel catch pole is going to do everything he needs it to do. Economically, you're going to be a little bit better off with that one. It's a 4 foot, which is going to be just right for you. And then as you progress, and if you want to do more, let's say maybe you start a wildlife control business, you really like what you're doing, or you do a lot of fur handling, then that aluminum pole, our big stick catch pole that we make, would be a definite upgrade for you. So it's a lot lighter, it's just as strong, and it's easier to use.
So is that y'all's brand?
Yeah, that's our brand. What we did with that is we listened to some of our customers complain about some of the other brand aluminum catch poles, and that they didn't hold up as far as the strength of the pole itself. So our piping that we use, it's aluminum, and we doubled the wall thickness of that compared to some of the other brands. So weight wise, you really don't see much of a difference, but it's quite a bit more robust when it comes to strength and durability.
Is that a standout, or is that it looks about like 4 foot too?
Yeah, that's a 4 footer. We have them in 4 foot and 5 foot, and then we also have them in stainless. If somebody wants a stainless steel pole, they're heavier. You realize you got something pretty stout in your hand when you hold that pole.
What would be the benefit of aluminum versus stainless minus strength? Is that the only difference?
Strength, as people living on the coast, trapping on the coast, may want that stainless pole. Aluminum doesn't react well to salt water.
It anodizes. Gets that.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, we get that a lot too when we kayak hunting and stuff like that. You can't, once the paddles, you can't hardly get them things loose. The aluminum, like it anodizes over, it gets that glaze over it. The old white.
Yeah. It'll start to corrode and diminish. It weakens it pretty quick, actually.
So let's see what the next one is. Trapping gear. So I'm assuming this is all stuff to put in the anchors and stuff in the ground and digging out, to bury the traps in.
Yeah. So the drivers, depending on the style of driver and the style of earth anchors you use, we make all those in house. Our drags we make in house. The augers we make in house.
And that's pretty cool. So y'all making this in house?
Correct. Yep.
That's pretty cool. So obviously you got a welder on hand, huh?
We've got more than one. We've got a few. In fact, I just bought another one. I bought a new welder and another plasma machine. So we're past due for them, and we definitely need it. That's for certain.
That's pretty cool. Using a standard just electric drill, like a battery operated drill.
Yeah, so a 1/2 inch cordless drill will work on that just fine. 18 or 20 volt would be either one of those will work. We may I've got the program done on the CNC machine, so eventually we'll actually start building those for the big heavy duty hammer drills that take a special collet there that plugs into it.
What would you think most of the land in Georgia? Is it mostly like sandy area?
Here in the south part of Georgia where I'm at, it's very sandy with a layer of hard pan below it. You get up towards middle Georgia, it's going to be clay, and then North Georgia, you're going to get into some rocky stuff up there. So depending on where you live, it's going to have some different soil conditions.
A lot of people don't think of Georgia, like the upper part of Georgia, as in like mountains. Like, a lot of people, unless they're just going to Chattanooga, and depends on where they're going, a lot of people don't think Georgia, that's not like mountains. When I think mountains, it's like West Virginia and North Carolina, but it's got some pretty good sized mountains in it.
It does. It absolutely does. A lot of people think you say Georgia, you automatically think peaches and swamps, and we've got our fair share of that for certain. For Atlanta, yeah, there ain't no telling what's over there. But yeah, there's definitely the cliche of what we're known for. That's for certain. It's all kinds of different things.
Mm-hmm. And Helen, Georgia, man, that's a really cool place. I really enjoy Helen, Georgia. If you've never been to Helen, Georgia, that is like little Switzerland, Germany kind of place.
Yeah. The entire town's like built on a German themed town, and it's been several years since I've been there, but last time we did me and my family, we did a bunch of fishing in those creeks and stuff, got a lot of trout, but very touristy during the summertime. There's plenty of entertainment, plenty of shopping. There's plenty to do.
So snares and cables. So looks like a good bit of snares and cables. So starting out versus you've been in it for a while. What's the difference here? And I see something about a trap pack. So obviously I'm thinking that's a combine everything you need.
So your two basic categories are you have snares and then you have cable restraints. Cable restraints is a little bit of what it sounds like. It's a restraint made with cable we use a different style snare lock on it that allows that snare to relax, so it doesn't necessarily kill the animal. Some states require you to use a cable restraint and a relaxing lock on those. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, a lot of the northern states are mandated that you use that, and they've got certain other requirements too that you got to have when you build those. And then of course a snare would be more of your non-relaxing locks that once it's tight and it stays tight. And some states, your western states, some other states like Mississippi and stuff, will allow you to use those.
So what he's saying is check your laws and regulations before you order anything. Absolutely, because I'm not going to, if you're buying something and you're shipping it to a state that I know it's not legal in, it's not my place to say that. I'm assuming you know what the rules are and you're going to follow it. Maybe you're going to trap out of state someplace where it is, and yeah, definitely know what your local and state laws say about that. So there's all kind of different combinations on there for sure.
Yeah, and some of them are animal specific. Like the Idaho wolf snare, of course, they've got regulations on that it's got to meet certain criteria. So those are built for that. The Wisconsin snares, the Pennsylvania, the Missouri snares, those all have certain rules. And then the survival trap pack that you were just looking at there, it's got a few that's geared towards your survivalists or your prepper type folks, and so it comes with a dozen survival snares, support wire, and what we wanted to do with that was make it as user friendly as possible.
I've never thought about that. Like, people thinking like canned stuff, dry rice, beans, stuff like that, all kind of dry stuff. But I ain't never thought about, hey, I mean, on me, I was like, well, I'm a country boy. I ain't always catch a fish or hunt and stuff like that. But I ain't never really thought about putting a little small pack like that in a prepper bag.
Oh yeah, well, and the thing about it is you can hunt, you can fish, like you said, but you can only hunt for so long. You can only fish for so long. Mm-hmm. When you put that snare out, you said it's hunting for you 24 hours a day, and hopefully until it catches something for you.
And that's something you can always keep in that little pack too until it hits the fan.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And that kit there, it comes with some of the Conibear, which is a kill style trap, and some mounts for it. The snare pack has a little green card in it, a reference card that tells you how big of a loop and how high off the ground it needs to be for different types of animals. And then on the back side of that card, it gives you some tips on where to put the snares.
I think that's a pretty cool idea. I'm not even gonna lie. That's something that doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and you can put it with the rest of your stuff.
Absolutely, and any snare can be a survival snare or so you can get some bigger snares for some bigger animals. A coyote snare or some raccoon snares. A dozen of them don't weigh just a pound or two, and so yeah, it makes sense.
Well, I mean, it makes sense too that you were saying in there though. It's got instructions on how to do it, how to put it so high. Because if we're actually planning to do the prep like you're intending to use here, there ain't gonna be no cell phone on the internet. You ain't gonna be like, hey, let me pull up Google or YouTube on how to do that. It's pretty cool that it's got instructions in there. Yeah,
you know what? And it's always good if you buy that. Just go ahead and try them out, practice with them. You can always, the better you get familiar with that equipment, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, versus being hungry.
Yeah.
And then I clicked on the other one too. It was a small, 3-count snare pack, and then a 12-pack or 12-count snare pack. So it seems like throughout the website, you can buy different quantities too.
Yeah. So that one's just the snares, and that comes with the support wire and the card, and of course the bag's resealable. Whereas the one prior to that was some traps and the snares, and So options are always a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know how it shows up on the internet part, but I can see where it says, raccoon and rabbit and squirrel and that green piece of paper there that you're talking about. That's
Hmm.
pretty cool.
And that's a hard plastic card, so it doesn't matter if it gets wet. It's you're going to be able to read it, and it's kind of like it's a credit card size, and it's made with the same material your credit card's made out of, whatever that plastic is. So that information should always be there for you if you need it.
So I guess this is another kit here.
Yeah. Now that one's kind of an interesting kit. That's a Thompson Snare survival pack, and we bought Thompson Snares probably 6 years ago. And Thompson Snares was started by Raymond Thompson, and was started before Titanic was sailing on the ocean. We're the third owners, I think.
Really?
And some quick history on that particular survival pack. Those were actually issued to pilots during World War II, and it was part of their survival pack that they had if they ever had to bail out of the plane.
That's pretty cool. Well, that's pretty cool also that you still carrying on the tradition and of somebody's idea. Somebody I know you said his name Thompson, but
Yep.
somewhere down the line he was like thinking, like, wonder how long this is going to last. And 3 owners later, and it's still being used in all the places. And if we had technology back then that we have now, like you said, hey, if you buy a kit from me and you trap something, send me a picture. Imagine what kind of stories can go along with these survival kits. That there was pilots that were bailing out of airplanes, and they had to defend for themselves for a long time before they were ever found.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would think every day there was probably somebody being shot down, and hopefully they were able to bail out in time, and maybe they got picked up in time and didn't have to use it. But if they didn't, then they had the tools there that they necessary to get a meal or two.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we went through there. We went to baits. So here's some supplies. So this is just like repair shop stuff.
So those are the individual snare parts that you can buy if you want to make your own snares. The different locks, the steel ends, the deer stops, supports for your wire, things like that. You can buy all that yourself if you want to make your own snares.
Got the tools and all. Now that right there, that is a heavy duty bench cutter. Boy, I guarantee that was, I was hoping for a bigger picture.
Yeah.
That thing right there looked like if it got your fingers in it, that might hurt a little bit.
Well, let me tell you a story. So when we first started the company, that's exactly what I used, was one of those. Mm-hmm. And we outgrew that. We finally bought some hydraulic swagers, and we've got punch presses here that we punch out the steel for some of these snare parts. Some of these snare locks we make in house, and some of these punches are I think the one that got me was a 50-ton punch press, and I got my thumb in it, and it got me, and it did not feel good. I ended up having to go to the hospital, and they're like, there's nothing we can do. It basically took the bone in the end of my thumb and pulverized it to powder.
Wow.
And so now I've got a nice deformed thumb.
But like, thumbs up. You ought to put a picture beside the machine and be like, if you want your thumb to look like this, stick it in this machine.
That's it.
So
yep.
I know what these are used for, and it's for clamping down, and it was on the other page before I clicked on it. We use the same stuff like that. Definitely not that big. I usually do it the old Southern boy, just manhandle it with a pair of pliers, and they always flatten out. On page 1 here, I saw them somewhere. The aluminum, these right here. We use I I saw it, and I
Oh
couldn't.
yeah, like the
There we
double
go.
ferrules and stuff.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
use them a lot for decoys. And man, I know that they make a correct tool for that to crimp that correctly. But them aluminum ones, we making our own decoys and just grip them down with a vice grip, and then 6 months later, you go to pull them and it comes out one end or the aluminum cracks, and like I wish I would have used the right tool. And I'm sure you
You
probably
can use
sell
a
that
hammer
right
too. Yeah. So a hammer works well with those. You can just mash them down, keep them from coming out. The crimping tool, but yeah, there's a few things you can do to keep them from moving around on you.
Or a 50-ton press.
Or a 50-ton press. Yeah. Just don't get your thumb stuck in it.
Oh man. So here's the traps. So you got a couple of different traps on there: a body grip trap, a cage trap, coil spring traps, dog proof traps, and long snare traps. So which ones mostly are the top sellers?
Your coil spring traps are going to be some of your better sellers, and then of course for raccoons, your dog proof traps are going to be your big sellers there.
So coil spring traps, you got different brands here. Pick me out one so I can click on it.
Let's go with the MBs, the Minnesota brand.
All right. So, wow, the options keep growing. That's a huge list of just different traps.
Yeah, you got different sizes for different animals. You got different configurations, maybe for different state laws, or maybe just personal preference. But overall, the MB 550 2-coil offset traps are going to be the most popular traps.
So you got 550, RC, a CL, a RJ, and what's them? What's the difference?
So you've got your RC, your CL. You got a closed jaw. The RJ is going to be your rubber jaw traps. Then you've got your offset traps, which is your RC. 2-coil, and then you got the same thing in 4-coil traps. So they've got these little coil springs on it, and the 2-coil is just that. They've got 2 coil springs that force the levers up and make the jaws close. Whereas the other ones, the 4-coil, has got 4 small coil springs on it, which those tend to be a little more popular up north where the ground may freeze, and helps get that trap up out of the ground if the ground's frozen.
I got you. And I'm assuming like the rubber pads would be like people that would be like trapping coyotes for reselling the coyote to hunters to train their dogs and stuff. Obviously, you don't want like their legs all tore up.
Right. Yeah. So it's a steel jaw, but then you've got the rubber inserts, and that's exactly what a lot of places will, or a lot of guys will use them, so it doesn't cause foot damage. Now, most of your traps don't cause foot damage at all, but if they're going to sell them to a fox pen or something, some of them can be pretty picky, and they just use those for a little extra insurance.
Right. That's pretty cool. So then dog traps, you got 3 different kinds of dog traps. Which kind we going to look at?
Either anyone will be fine.
All right, so we're going to go with Duke. So these are the dog proof ones. These are the ones that are going to keep the dogs from sticking their nose and feet and everything else in there. This is more like for raccoons, right?
Right. That's going to be for raccoons, possums, things of that nature that tend to use their, that can pick up things with their front paws.
Little honey bun stealing jokers.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So you got some thermals on here?
Yeah, so that's one of our newer items, thermals. We got monoculars and scopes on there. For considering the price tags on those, they are really a high quality unit. I use them a lot for hog hunting and stuff, and the quality of those, the picture that you see is very, very high quality stuff. I was really surprised that the quality of those were as good as they were, and which is why we started carrying them and started selling them.
So obviously, DVDs and books. Learn how to do it. There's a good many books on there.
There are, and a lot of those guys, well, every one of those guys are professionals. They've been doing it a long, long time. Some of them are have passed away, and their books keep selling. And don't get me wrong. Now you compare those books to YouTube. There's some good information on YouTube, but there's a lot of misinformation on YouTube also. And it's kind of hard to distinguish, especially starting out, what's what. You might be listening to a guy that thinks he's got it figured out and he's been trapping 3 weeks and he's telling you all the wrong stuff. Whereas those books are going to tell it to you like it is and what to do and how to do it. And the DVDs, they work well. I prefer the books over the DVDs just for the fact that I can take that book with me out there, and if I need to reference something or look at something while I'm out there setting traps, I've got it there in my back pocket to look at.
That makes sense. So gloves and waders, so all kind of different gloves.
Yep. Most of those are going to be for your water trappers there. There's a few there for land trapping, but yeah.
Man, there's a lot of stuff on this website. Like, do you know how many items y'all keep in stock? Like, I know there was a couple things on out of stock, but like, what is the random number of items y'all have in stock?
Man, I don't know.
I mean, this is a big website.
Yeah, we're I mean, it's okay. Personally, I mean, I think we're still a small fish in a big pond, but I don't know, we're probably 1,500, 2,000 different different items on the webpage when it comes down to it.
There's all kind of stuff on here. So like I said, if y'all just tuning in, we got Brian from Southern Snares, southernsnares.com. So definitely there's a lot on here for all kind of stuff. So this definitely can get you started. And if you're into it, as like he says, I wouldn't say you would. You say you're a pro? Because pro would be a dangerous word. I don't want to say pro.
Well, yeah, expert, pro, you call it what you want. I'm probably somewhere in between. I do get paid for my trapping services. So one of the other companies that I own is South Georgia Wildlife Management. But I'll say it like this: if you hear any trapper that says they know it all, buyer beware. I don't know it all, and I learn stuff all the time that's new to me. And so even the guys that do it for a living, they're learning on a daily basis too.
So under the Survivor tab, there's the snare, packs again, but you got some other stuff on here that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've got the tin there that's got a few. It's a compact survival kit. It's got a few snares and stuff in there. A little fire starter. I figured if you're going to catch something, you better have a way to cook it. So it comes with the fire starter, and then there's a sticker on the bottom of that has a lot of that same information that's on that hard plastic card that's in that other survival kit that tells you loop sizes and heights and stuff like that, and tips and things.
I mean, I know it's very close to Christmas, and I am definitely not going to go out there as the advertised person to say these would be great stocking stuffers that he can get it to you for Christmas. But these would make some great stocking stuffers. So if you're in Georgia and you can stop in, these would be really cool stocking stuffers.
There you go. That's it.
Especially if you're an outdoors person.
Yeah, if you got anybody that hunts or fishes, somebody that's outdoorsy, this will be right up their alley.
I mean, like that kit right there would be great to throw in your truck. I mean, like we were saying earlier, man, if we got a foot of snow in South Carolina and you were in a ditch somewhere, something like that could come in handy. All jokes aside, that is something very small.
Yep. I don't remember what it weighs, but it'll fit in your pocket. It's literally something that can fit in your pocket and save your life.
Like I said, that's a good stocking stuffer. Hint, hint, Christmas time. But you know, if you waiting this late to buy Christmas stuff, you might be behind the 8 ball.
Oh, I know I'm behind the 8 ball. I haven't done any Christmas shopping yet.
Oh my God, y'all do gift cards?
We do gift cards. Yep.
There you go. There you go. Get a gift card. Man, we've been on here an hour and 15 minutes. Like, time has gone away. Like, it is very impressive, all the stuff you got on there. Is there anything like I missed? Like, hey, I want you to point this out before we call it a night, because now we're getting into, you know, how we're going to start eating this stuff.
Well, you know, one of my passions is if you look at my personal YouTube or my personal Facebook page, I do a lot of cooking. I cook for my employees on a regular basis, and so in fact, that's actually a picture of my personal smoker right there.
Oh.
With the Yoder there. Yoders are made in America. And so we started making these badges that we can attach, you know, the people buy for their grills and stuff. And we can personalize them, or we got some pre-made. And then we became a distributor for Lumberjack brand pellets because hands down, they've got to have the best flavor I've ever had on anything that I've cooked compared to any other brand of pellets.
That's pretty cool. I closed out the tab that I wanted to. You got too many tabs open. I know where I was at. I was down here. There we go.
So our most popular one that we sell when it comes to the little signs there that you can buy for your it says a vegan recovery center, which is perfect for anybody to have on there you go. Yep. You know, it's perfect for having on, you know, just putting it on there and just highlighting what you like to do, and that's cooking, that's grilling.
So y'all making them with your plasma cutters, huh?
Yeah, they're made from some heavier 14 gauge steel. You know, we don't use a lot of the real thin stuff, so it's going to be, you know, a little thicker, a little more heavy duty, and hopefully last you a while.
That's pretty cool. All right, Jeff, I appreciate you coming on tonight. So are y'all powder coating in house too?
No, we just do an enamel with that, and then a clear coat.
I got you. Well, at least them pellet cookers, unless you crank it up to cook a steak on, they don't get up to high temps anyway, especially where that other picture was that high up on the cooker. It's probably not getting that hot anyway.
Right. Yep. And most people, we supply some magnets with that, so you can just put it put it on there, and those act as a little bit of a heat sink, so the signs themselves don't get too hot at all.
I got you. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you obviously said Facebook earlier. So what are y'all's social media stuff? Like what are y'all mainly posting on, people to follow, stuff like that?
Yeah, we do some Facebook. Yeah, we don't do much with YouTube. I just don't have the time to do the videos like I should. But TikTok, we do some stuff on TikTok, and then Instagram as well. I'm a little behind on getting stuff posted, but you can go to either one of those and check us out.
So is it just Southern Snares on, just searching for both of them? It ain't no weird name?
Yeah. No, just Southern Snares.
You know, some people have some weird names that on TikTok that you wonder how they got that name. But so you said earlier that, you know, that you call in and you pretty much either get you or your wife. So if somebody's got questions and stuff, they're getting a live person they can answer, you know, ask questions about.
Yep, you get a live English-speaking person. That doesn't get much better than that.
And now, we both might have Southern accents, so that could be confusing at times.
Yeah, yep. I'll try to enunciate my words a little bit better for you.
I was exactly where I was fixing to go. My wife just says I don't open my mouth all the way and pronounce the words all the way, but I don't know what she's talking about.
That my wife says the exact same thing.
You just mumbling. I don't understand mumble. Sounded right in my head. But
Yeah, it sounded good to me. I don't know what the problem is.
so any upcoming shows that you know of that you're gonna be in 20, I'm gonna go on a limb and probably say there's probably nothing going on between here and January.
Yeah, yeah. So no shows between now. The first show of the year is typically going to be at the Pennsylvania State Convention, and we'll be there, and that's going to be in June. So our first show is going to be in June, and we'll continue to go to shows from June, July, August, September, all the way into October. And after that, we're neck deep in the trapping season. So we're here at the shop getting customers' orders out, made and packaged up and stuff.
That sounds cool. So how can people get in touch with you? How can they get in contact with you?
You can call us anytime or text us 912-288-6542. Email us at southernsnares@outlook.com. All that information is on the webpage there. Call or text, and we'll do our best to help you out.
Sounds good. Hey man, I greatly appreciate you coming on. I learned a lot. I'm gonna take you up on that coming to Georgia one day. Like I said, she dances down there in Savannah like once a year, so it'd be more towards the summertime. But yeah, I like next time I'm down in that part of Georgia, I'll hit you up and that'd make a good video tour the place.
Yeah, come on down. We'll treat you like family. We'll do some grilling, and the shop's got air conditioning, so we'll keep you cool.
There ain't nothing wrong with that because you got to have air conditioning in the South.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully y'all learned a lot. I learned a lot. Definitely have you on again. And like I said, next time I'm down in that part of Georgia, I'll hit you up and do a shop tour and make a video. And that's one thing that I wanted to do with this YouTube channel. I just wanted to spread the word, get the word out, talk to people, learn new stuff. I mean, I'm having a ball with YouTube and meeting new people. Like I said, 2 months ago, I didn't even know we had a Trappers Association in South Carolina. Met you, learned a lot of stuff, and it's a small world. The hunting community is a small community, but we try to spread the word on what everybody's doing. So I appreciate you coming on.
No, we appreciate it. We thank you for having us.
Well, y'all, we're going to wrap this one up. We're getting closer to Christmas time. If you haven't purchased your wife, girlfriend, anything, you might want to start doing that now. And yeah, we only got like 2 weeks to Christmas, so a couple more Wednesdays. Duck season starts this weekend in South Carolina. Our second split, so man, I can't wait, and it's gonna be cold. So y'all get ready, and with this cold coming on, I always say it when the cold and bad weather's coming. Tonight's gonna be cold, and a couple of nights next week's gonna be cold. It takes absolutely no energy to pick up the phone and check on an old person, the elders. If you cold, they're probably cold, and just check in on your neighbors. Just stop by. Hey, do you need anything? Especially it being cold, they can't get out. Just check on the elders during this time, and especially people out on the streets and stuff. So cold weather's here. Let's be the good people, and good stewards of the outdoors, and also take care of our own type people. So until next week, I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Y'all be safe, and I appreciate you coming on. And here's a word from our sponsors. Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information, the link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors, shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Also, go check out Salt Creek Ammo. This triple curl TSS is some of the best TSS I have ever shot. This is for waterfowl edition. It's made full waterfowl. So if you're going to shoot a species that you've been chasing for a long time, don't use no cheap ammo. You pay good money to go on a trip. You got great guns. Don't cheap out on cheap ammunition. This TSS is amazing. It's got number 7s, number 8s, and he has number 9s. So go check out saltcreekammo.com. Here you will find any kind of ammo you're looking for. He has custom loads, TSS in 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, low pressure ammunition. You got predator ammunition, turkey ammunition, anything you're looking for, give Keith a call. Also to the channel, Kicks Industries, most people will know them as Kick Chokes, has came on board, and I have done a bunch of series lately on waterfowl choke tubes, turkey choke tubes, deer choke tubes. So go check out Kick's website for all of the chokes that can fit your guns. Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service LLC prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC.